Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and today we are going to be having a very special insight tonight with Dr. Sudhir Bisht, who is a well-known author as well as columnist. Dr. Sudhir, December month has brought different kind of news for us, and one we start paying our tributes to Ustad Zakir Hussain Sahib, whom we lost. He was at San Francisco, and considering the lifespan these days, early 70s is quite young. Uh, Before I hand it over to you, I distinctly remember the kind of glory and glamour that he brought towards tabla by his excellent, of course, rendition of tabla. But in addition to that, there was certain glamour about the person, his presence, his smile, the way he would have his hair, and all that. Talk to me about your recollection of the presence of Maestro Ustad Zakir Hussain Saab on stage, if you recollect any of
Uh,
your experience.
Thank you very much, Ashokji, for this opportunity. You are right. Actually, Zakir Hussain Sahab was a connoisseur of music, and he was an exponent of tabla. He brought tabla from the oblivion, from the lack of glory to glorious heights. In fact, he came to he put tabla on the center stage, so to say.
Absolutely.
So and a lot of credit for this also should go to the other maestros like Ravi Shankar ji, who encouraged him, Amjad Ali Khan Saab, who was the sarod maestro. And when he started to play tabla, I recall that the jugalbandi between Amjad Ali Khan Sahab and him and other sitar vadaks and him was so tremendous that it used to enthrall the audience. Audience would be spellbound. Zakir Hussain Sahab was the first player of tabla who attracted crowds who came to see how he performed on tabla.
Absolutely.
Tabla till now was considered as a secondary object. It was not considered the primary object. While it remained in many ways, it could not. You cannot call tabla a primary object, but yet it attained equal status. Also, his personality, as you are right, was a magnificent personality. There was an aura about him, and the way he played the tabla, and he appeared in the advertisement of Taj
Wahat aaj
tea,
boli.
Vataj.
Yeah.
So, my generation was simply mesmerized. As a student, I watched him in my college program in Spik Mecke at Hindu College. And he not only was a brilliant tabla player, he would also explain the nuances of various saz. Another thing is he will give credit to all the people who played key pivotal role in his life. As a person, I found him extremely charismatic and yet very humble.
Yeah.
Yet
So
very
let
humble.
me take it
So it's a
to
huge loss, and he
absolutely.
is gone at a very early age actually.
Right. So I also recollect having seen him share wealth of his wisdom and knowledge at
Ji.
Princeton University. And if you remember, mathematician Manjul Bhargav, who is also known across the globe, not only for his prowess in the field of mathematics, but he also loves music. And he was instrumental in bringing Ustad Zakir Hussain Sahib to Princeton University,
Okay.
where he took some sessions, and I was fortunate to be present at one section just to sort of welcome him. Moving towards mathematics and music and mystical element, there is politics, which also people consider as a game of chess sometimes, because what you have in front of you in the form of whatever constitution is providing, then you play it so that it suits your party or what stand you have taken. Before we go to politics, let's also look at India's presence on the world map as a country which offers people with a lot of intelligence. And how do you feel about the new world champion from
Mukesh.
India in the field of chess?
Okay, so first of all, it's a matter of great pride for India, and we all rejoice the fact that after Vishwanathan Anand, after many years, because Vishwanathan Anand actually brought glory to India by becoming the chess champion, and I think he retained that crown for 8 long years. And Vishwanathan Anand was not only an expert in traditional chess, in terms of speed chess, he was also equally good. So now Gukesh, who's only 18 years of age, I mean,
Yeah.
think of what is 18 years of age. You're not even broken into your 20s, and he has been crowned the world champion. And when the game started, he started with a loss, and then there were successive draws, and then he won one game, and then he again won another game, and then suddenly the Chinese contender, he drew level. So people had given up on him, and they said, because of his relative youth and inexperience, he would fumble. But the guy has nerves of steel. The guy has nerves of steel, and he kept his cool, and he won. I think he won with the white pieces, and it's a huge achievement, not only for Gukesh, but also for all of us. And in fact, uh, a guy who's from India. So once there is a champion from India, that means suddenly there are more eyeballs on the game. There are more people watching the game. Okay, there are more people talking about the game. So it gives a fillip to the game of chess. Number one. Number two is, think of this traditional, India versus China kind of thing. Although both are gentlemen and both are so well behaved. Sorry, I forget the name of the Chinese player. He was equally very brilliant. So Gukesh he kept his nerves. Perhaps God also blessed him that day. He won. But so the game of chess has again become very interesting in this part of the globe.
Okay, so yeah, let me
Yeah.
take it from chess to politics. And indeed, in chess also you have a king and a queen, and
I just wanted to
sure.
add the significant role played by the chess authorities, chess federation, who supported Gukesh. So many times we lament the fact that sports people don't get support, but he was very well supported by the Chess Federation of India.
Okay, so from this I go to politics now. When I say politics, there are certain policies which are dependent on the way a leader perceives the importance of a particular field. And in this case, as you mentioned about the support for Gukesh, now let us go towards the center stage where we have seen in the during the election season opposition mentioning that the current regime under Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a threat to the constitution, which means there is a politics that comes into play. Whereas, as a layman, if I mention that constitution should be dictating the way the politics would function, or maybe both of them are interdependent. So before we come to the current scenario where we have a lot of controversies relating to constitution, let us go slightly and look at the history, the way constitution was formed. And do you see there was politics at play right at the beginning of the formation of Indian constitution?
Actually, even if there was some politics, and some kind of a politics, because politics is an art of governance, some kind of a politics was there. Who will be the head of the Constituent Assembly, who will be the member of drafting committee. But all this politics was perhaps in the realm of positive politics, so that best people give their best. But actually, people must remember that the constitution, it took 2 years, 11 months, and a few days. And on 26th of November 1949, the constitution was formally adopted by the Constituent Assembly. So that is why it's the Samvidhan Divas. So importance of 26th November as the Samvidhan Divas or Constitution Day is because this was the first time, and then it became a formality that it was enforced from 26 January, 26th of January 1950. So from that day, India became a republic. Because what is republic? That we are sovereign nation. Till that, we had viceroy and governor generals. So the as you know the at that time, Chakravarti Rajgopalachari was holding that position, right? So this is the significance of 26th November 1949. That is why I think this current dispensation wants to celebrate it as a Samvidhan Divas. Why I personally think it is important that we celebrate is because constitution is not a inanimate object. It is, as you have very rightly said, it is the lifeblood of our system. It is the very spirit, the very ethos around which politics must revolve, all legislations must revolve, and it is the basic ingredient of Indian way of life.
So let me draw your attention to the need of changing times. And I believe there are provisions already inbuilt in the way the constitution was formed, that if there is a need, there could be a provision for the amendments, and there have been several amendments, as you know. So when we say that you are not being fair to, or you are not respecting the constitution, what does that actually mean? Because the constitution has undergone several changes. There have been so many amendments, and sometimes, as you would remember, the word secularism also was not existing when the constitution formed. So it it was added later on, and there must have been some philosophy behind adding that word. But now, when you say that, if you even consider that it should be moved around, that would be anti-constitutional. So how do you see, is this in alignment with the spirit of constitution, or is it politics?
See, personally, I think the constitution itself had clauses which enabled people, a government, successive, not governments, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and in some cases, consent of at least 50% of the state assemblies are debated. But the fact of the matter is, constitution can be amended. See, when we say constitution can be amended, this means constitution, some of the new additions can be done, few modifications can be done, but the basic spirit of constitution cannot be twisted. If you see the basic doctrine of constitution, which came into existence during that famous Keshav Nanda case, and there have been judgments on SR Bombay judgments also. The Supreme Court also said the basic tenets of constitution cannot be altered. They cannot be, so right to freedom, okay, right, the freedom of speech, these things cannot be taken away. Right to life. So to
Freedom
that,
to practice religion.
yes, in terms of the right to practice any religion, to propagate your own thoughts, philosophical thoughts, religious thoughts peacefully. So none of that right cannot be denied. So basic doctrine of the constitution.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
make it very simple for anybody who doesn't know much about constitution, but they hear about Maulik Adhikar or the fundamental rights, and as you mentioned about freedom of expression. Now, where politics comes into play is when you are not in power, you will say that the governing or the ruling party is not being fair as far as the right of expression is concerned, and the same will happen when the other party is ruling. And so what my question to you is, the space of interpretation, does it leave a lot of leeway for the politics to come into play and sort of a color the impact of constitution in the way it would suit them? And allow me to elaborate without getting into too much details. So if X party is ruling in a particular state, then they will make use of the provisions of law, whereby if you have some social media post which doesn't speak favorably of the leader from X party, they'll put you behind bars. But the same party would question the other, if that happens in the other state. So how do you see that?
It is all rather unfortunate, Ashokji, to tell you very frankly. And why this? So let me give you a background of why this debate, why the political compulsion to have this debate. And it's a debate which was initiated by the ruling dispensation, but it was very necessary. So we have to understand why. As you know, Rajnath Singh ji opened the debate, and Pradhan Mantri Shri Narendra Modi, he concluded that debate in Lok Sabha on Saturday. And I think yesterday Amit Shah ji concluded, the Home Minister concluded the debate in Rajya Sabha. So that is how it is. Sometimes Prime Ministers. So why is the need for a debate around Constitution? Because by spreading a canard, a lie, that this government, which is the NDA government, it wanted a majority of 400 plus because it wanted to change the constitution, not amend the constitution, change the constitution. And there were allegations they want to rewrite the constitution. All of this started by one or two innocuous comments by one or two minor leaders of BJP. They committed a big faux pas. Let's admit that. And then BJP was not able to discredit the rumors. It was not able to combat the rumors. And one reason many people think that why BJP came back, could not come back with a majority as much as 275 seats, which would give them a right to form their government on their own, was because there was a canard which was spread successfully by the leading opposition party, which is Congress, led by Rahul ji and Khadge ji and all the others, that BJP wants to change the constitution. And the gentleman went around carrying a red book in his pocket. I don't know how could constitution be, condensed in such a small book, and he went around carrying this, that this Samvidhan khatre mein. So after but you must understand, the government has been formed, it is stable, and after winning Haryana and especially Maharashtra with a thumping majority, the mojo in the Modi government is back. So they wanted to start a debate which also negated whatever negative campaign had gone against it, but they also wanted to give a befitting reply in the Sansad to all the misinterpretation which was being done. Now, there is, I can say with, in all honesty and with complete sincerity, that I have not felt any signal where this government wants to tamper with this constitution. What is this? What is the main fulcrum, or what is the main bone of contention? The main bone of contention is reservation. Congress party said BJP wants to take away reservation from OBCs. Okay, and it is anti. One of the leaders of RSS also in his intellectual discourse, he said reservation needs to be looked at. So they picked it up from them, politicized that, and then BJP lost, could not get 275 seats. They stopped at 240. So that is why the BJP wanted a debate around constitution, and thank God there was a debate, and the debate, which was very well moderated by the Lok Sabha speaker, and the debate was able to clearly allow people to spell what they think, whereas the constitution been violated, who violated the constitution, and who defended this constitution.
So,
I
now,
think
yeah.
the I think the I think it is a I personally think it is a major political victory for BJP, that it allowed a full debate, and then on the last day, how Prime Minister Modi, he was able to not only defend BJP's position, but he was in a very, very attacking mode.
So,
Yeah.
talking about attacking mode, let me take you to your recollection of the day when you presented at the press club in New Delhi, and
Yes.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi tore that ordinance. When I remember, Prime Minister at that time, Dr. Manmohan Singh, he was in USA. I
Right.
think in his
Yeah.
absence. So basically, this was someone who was not holding any constitutional position, but had the guts or
Audacity to.
audacity
Mm.
to question the decision made by the constitutional authority in the form of prime minister and the Sansad. So now the question is, referring to these kind of instances has happened many times. So it is like having some political scores against this party, that party, and they have some fair reasons to do that. But you mentioned about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address, and I was looking at the comment made by another leader from the Congress, from the Gandhi family, Priyanka Gandhi, mentioning that the speech of Prime Minister was boring and it reminded her of her mathematics teacher. So we started off with mathematics while we were mentioning about Manjul Parker. No, we are coming back to mathematics. And so talk to me about the way it was presented and the way it was perceived. Was the impression made by the arguments from the ruling party, they were substantial enough, they were logical enough, and the way opposition has responded to them?
See, it is like this. As somebody who scored almost 100% marks in mathematics in class 10th, I can tell you mathematics is far from boring. Huh? But there are some people who find mathematics boring. They are those students who don't understand mathematics. So if you don't understand a subject, it is boring for you. Okay. I think I think the mathematics was missing. There is no need for a mathematics in an argument on a subject which is a social science subject. But Prime Minister's speech was laced with right rhetoric, solid arguments, and high amount of emotion. See, it is said that to make a forceful point, to make a purposeful point, first of all you must have logic on your side, you must have the right emotion on your side. Most importantly, there must be credibility on your side. So if you are not a credible person, people will not believe you. So Prime Minister Modi uh, does not have to prove his credibility before the people of India. He is the third term prime minister.
That point is very well taken,
So
Sudhir.
I
Yeah.
think Priyanka Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, she gave a nice speech in the parliament, which was very good, which was okay for a first-time speaker. But she kind of cancelled that goodwill by saying this was a speech, boring speech by a mathematics professor.
No,
Perhaps
no.
she was very,
Uh,
perhaps she was very weak in mathematics. That is all
yeah.
I can say.
No. She was trying to kind of be a little satire.
But this was not satire. This was hardly
Mm.
a. If it were meant to be a satire, it was a poor satire. I should
So
say the speech was brilliant
yeah,
actually.
I'll leave it on that and move to other side, which also relates to constitution and politics very much. When we are just looking at 1 2 points of the constitution, and there are many, of course, dimensions to it. But talking about the fundamental rights and the freedom to practice your religion, and that comes into question when they say that the current ruling dispensation is not favorable to minorities. And again, the way there are provisions in the constitution and there have been several amendments. So talk to me about your vision. Of course, recently we have seen another Sambal reference where one temple, and so these issues, they kind of created a bar with some provision that there would be no more questioning on the way whichever place belongs to at the time of 1947. Then so in general, you got the drift of the fundamental right of practicing your religion and the way a constitution is interpreted and applied.
See, first of all, I would like the viewers also to have a basic understanding of what is the meaning of minority. If you are 18%, 20%, see, Muslims today are between 18 to 22% in India. There is no, the census has not taken place, it is going to take place soon. So you are not a minority, you are the second largest majority. So this is my first submission. Okay, minorities are Sikhs are minorities, Zoroastrians are minorities, people who still believe in paganism or people who are non-believers are in minority. So I don't understand this. Second thing is, let us understand that let me take you back for a moment to the Shah Banu case. Okay, when Shri Rajiv Gandhi, as a young,
Right,
ambitious,
sir.
dynamic prime minister, he was faced with a challenge that Supreme Court of India had ruled that Shah Banu must be paid alimony, and it was a paltry alimony. And her husband, and this is an old woman, and she pleaded with the Supreme Court that she should be paid with some alimony. And Supreme Court said the question of alimony not not to be paid because it is un-Islamic does not arise. It has to be paid. At that point in time, Constitution was amended by Shri Rajiv Gandhi, who was enjoying a brute majority of 400 plus Lok Sabha MPs. No, no government in a truly democratic country has ever won a majority of as 400 plus seats in a 536 Lok Sabha assembly. So he amended the constitution to negate the decision given by Supreme Court. So this is what I mean by violation of the constitution. At that time, Arif Muhammad Khan, who was the junior home minister, he had resigned because he was a sane voice. So this is the meaning of assault on constitution. Assault on constitution comes when you suspend the constitution by declaring an emergency and you put all the people in the opposition in jail, and you see that Indian Express comes out with a newspaper with a blank first page because there is emergency. When you put Goenka into jail, Ramnath Goenka into jail, who was the owner of a revered newspaper at that time, that is called the assault on constitution. However, now here is a question of a constitution amendment, a ruling which was made and a law which was made passed, and an act by the parliament that post 1947 structures will not be tinkered with. Okay, not to be tinkered with. Let us take the case of Sambal. Let us take the case of a temple.
We have to be brief. Yeah.
Yeah, the case was that the lower court, I should not say lower court, I should say district court, because lower court is the wrong word. The district court said, let there be a survey. So a court can order survey. Ordering a survey, a peaceful survey, it in no way contravenes the provisions of law or constitution. And when you go for a peaceful survey, first day nothing happens, second day nothing happens, and then on Friday after the prayers, suddenly you find a hujum of people come and start to throw. So I think there is more politics and less of legality and constitution in this, and people of India would do well to understand that there are politicians who want to stoke the fire, and they want actually India to be in a state of turmoil in the name of constitution and religion. So this is a very dangerous trend. It should be avoided.
So I think where we are right now, everybody wants India to grow. Even if you are not living in India, India is the place that the world is looking at. And when there is peace, the chances of growth increases. And I believe having proper understanding and interpretation of constitution also helps, and not playing petty politics by the leaders of either party would also work well for the nation in the long run, and that's what we hope for. And what would you say in 30 seconds? Is this hope well founded?
I think yes, because the live telecast of the Lok Sabha debate, it was very well watched, and it was telecast live by various channels. So people at large, they know that what do some politicians stand for, and who are the real defenders and who are the real agitators, and they know the distinction. I am personally very hopeful about the uh, future of India. We are growing. Although we had a small blip in the economic growth, we are at five less than 6%. But we are growing. We are getting more educated. We are a young nation, and as time progresses, your hope is will not be belied. Your hope will be kept up.
So, on that note, moving towards New Year with a lot of hope, excitement, and vision to be the best on individual level as well as from India, as far as India is concerned, and of course, moving towards making America great again also in 2024. So, on that note, with lots and lots of good wishes, thanks for being with us. Namaste.
Namaste.